Good evening, everybody, and welcome to SAFC Fan TV and another edition of the Sunday Bunch Live. With myself, Sean Middleton, on the panel tonight we have our editor, CONRAD Lee, we have Dino El Gore, the grafter, we also have the one and only Michael Bowers, we also have our southern soft mate, Jacob Kirkbride, only kidding, Jacob, and also this week on the show.
Oh, you're annoying him now, like.
That's it. He's had it.
He's gone. Bye-bye.
As another guy who's also been on the show before. He wasn't on when I was on last time, but he's a great guy. I love this guy, actually. He's on the Fans React. He's got a great analyst of the game. He's a lovely guy too, and he always has nice comments about me on Twitter, so I like him even more now. It's Matthew Lee, our special guest. All right, Matthew, how are you doing?
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Sean. Yeah. Thank you for having me on. Brilliant.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem at all. You're a nice lad, and you're always welcome on this show. Also, please subscribe to our channel. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. I think me and Conrad were talking about it earlier on. We're about 230 away.
So we're pretty close, really.
It's looking like that we're going to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2020. But I can see that all of us we've given 100%. Every single person on this channel have given it our all, and we all deserve a pat on the back. It's been a difficult year for everybody. Especially people who's suffer with mental illness and this, that, and the other. It's been a bad year, but congratulations to everybody associated with the channel, and we will hit 5,000 subscribers no matter what. Anyway, lads, I just want to just change it around a bit here. Dino, Christmas Day. How was your Christmas Day, buddy?
It was nice. It was a nice Christmas Day. The Christmas dinner was lovely. Red sauce all over me dinner. It was beautiful. What
are you doing?
Other than that, it was a nice day. I had a couple of cans on the night time. It was a nice day. Santa was a bit of an arsehole to us, like didn't get as much, but it was a good day all around. It was probably one of the best days I've had this year. Yeah, nice one, mate. Nice one. Jacob, I know obviously you've had to isolate for a couple of weeks, mate. It's not very nice. And I seen your video when we done the Christmas video, and you looked very down. I hope you're all right.
Yeah.
How was your Christmas day, mate? How did it go?
Well, it's a lot better now, considering today was my first day of freedom. So let out today, fantastic feeling. But over Christmas it was a strange one. But in the times that we're in down here in London, it's chaos at the moment. Being in tier 4, it's the closest thing to a lot. It feels like you're basically just in lockdown, like in the summer, to be honest. So just got to stick to the rules. Just be very careful. Wash your hands. Keep up the social distancing. But isolating was hard. Yeah, I won't lie to you. Obviously, because I did struggle over the summer with like my mental health and stuff. But Christmas Day, it was sound. To be honest, I don't really ask much for Christmas anyway, but Santa must have thought I was a good boy. But he did deliver me this lovely training top for Christmas. All I asked Santa was to deliver us promotion this season, but he has no effect on doing that. All he can do is just give a little bit of motivation. So hope for the best. But when will League One... Will we see out the season? That's what has been on my mind all day, to be honest. But we'll come to that later on.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jacob. I'll just quickly go on the live chat. David Walker, hi lads. In case you come and Jude, as always, evening lads. Joanne Punchand also in there. Lauren Kenny, evening lads. Jacob, hope you're feeling better. Lauren Kenny also says, hope Terry is feeling better as well. Welcome, Matthew. Gary Talbot, evening lads. Remember to give us the thumbs up, please, as well. If you wouldn't mind, that'd be much appreciated. Anyway, Michael Bowers, how was your Christmas day? What did you do? What was your dinner like? And how are you feeling on Christmas day in a whole?
Well, obviously, look, we're privileged. I was privileged the fact that you're able to spend time with people around you on Christmas Day. But I didn't quite have ketchup on my Sunday dinner. I didn't stab Santa and take his blood and put it on me dinner. Put it that way. Yes, I know. I'm gruesome.
Sunday dinner, you said Christmas dinner, mate, not Sunday's dinner.
Well, Christmas dinner, well, basically it's a glorified Sunday dinner, really, isn't it? You know,
No, it's not.
The only difference is pigs and blankets, but don't get me wrong, still very nice. It's nice though. It's my favorite type of meal, but I mean, as you get older, it becomes less about the present. It's just good to hopefully people obviously around the world had a good Christmas, as much as they can do in very, very, very trying circumstances. But yeah, like I said, Jacob, my main present would be the same as Jacob, hopefully get promotion, but unfortunately Santa has no bearing on that. We'll wait and see if the Red and White Wizards decide to keep up their wizardry and get us out of this league, but we'll see.
Thanks for that, Michael. Matthew, what Christmas day? How was your Christmas day, mate? Did you get everything off Santa Claus, and was it a nice day?
Yeah, I mean, well, to be fair, it's probably the best we could have really made it, to be fair. Obviously, just like Jacob, I'm in tier 4 as well. There's very little we can sort of go and do. Can't really meet any friends. Family members were going to come round. We had to obviously cancel that. But yeah, we just sort of made the most of it, really. Obviously, the dinner was nice, as it is every year. And, you know, we didn't have a lot, but, you know, we've all got to sort of remain grateful as well that what we have at the moment is probably more than what a lot of other people have at Christmas anyways. So yeah, I mean, we've just sort of got to make the most of it. Obviously, there was no Sunderland to watch, unfortunately, Boxing Day and over the Christmas period, which is, you know, it's not very nice. You don't realise how much time Sunderland actually takes up and how bored you get if you're not watching, really. But yeah, it's also been tough as well because I've got a job in Oxford Street in London, and obviously tier 4 means the shop's shut. I can't go to work. You know, so it's not great, but you know, we've got to do that to keep us safe, and hopefully we can move on in 2021 with the vaccine and just get on with our lives, really.
Yeah, well said, Matthew. Well said. Also, if you don't mind, subscribe to the channel what Matthew works on. Fans React, it's a great channel. Matthew's on there a lot. So is obviously Paul and Jack Dodds as well. So please go and subscribe to their channel as well. But also subscribe to ours, most of all. Ted Potts in the live chat says, welcome, Matthew, lad. DGH podcast. Matthew is back. He's a class lad. Yes, he is a great guy. He's always welcome on the show. Lovely guy. Clayton Edwards. Dano's mum has been all right.
I guess.
Right.
You can say that.
With the pigs and blankets. Still not happy about that, Dano. Taffy Mackham, Santa left me a month's worth of toilet paper for lockdown, or 6 Newcastle shirts, as he called.
You're well.
All right.
Mate, we'll not get to that one anyway. But anyway, Conrad, how was your Christmas day, mate?
Yeah, it was all right. It was just me and the missus at home, so we were doing.
And your cat.
And the cats as well. Yeah, can't forget them. They got more than us this year. The cats try to stop us spending, but you give up after a while. And I was doing like bits of work for us on there, trying to work on some brand deals for us. Now I can't say who it is, but all I can say is I'm loving it.
Is it Macca's?
Pretty big snack.
My Christmas dinner was tremendous. Obviously, the turkey was great. The beef was amazing. I was absolutely stuffed. I had a lovely prawn cocktail starter.
Woo!
Oh, look at you, Sean.
Look at you, Sean.
With obviously, my uncle, he was with us as well, and it was a great laugh. Obviously, I say my son. That was, you know, my son was great too. But like I say, it's been a bad year. But let's just hope, 2021 next Christmas. It's, you know, we've sort of everybody's getting the vaccinations and we can all sort of get back to normality. I think that's what everybody wants now. Do you know what I mean? It's just sort of a prolonged period. This, but obviously it will happen in time. Let's just everybody stay safe. Anyway, back to the football, to the most important thing, the football. The club announced. Was it a day? Well, obviously the other day they announced the Shrewsbury, Blackpool and Hull games were postponed, and also they announced today on the official website and Twitter that the Accrington and Stanley game, which I think we all sort of had a good idea that would be postponed as well. Apparently, there's over 14 people who's got who've tested positive for the coronavirus in the squad now. The keepers, I think, the 3 keepers. So I think that was to be expected. Dino, what's your feelings on the current crisis within League One with the postponement of the games? I mean, when do you think it'll come? You know, when do you think our next game will be? Our next game is Northampton next Saturday. I mean, I can't see that going ahead either, to be fair. I mean,
I don't think we'll be playing this year. Maybe a couple of weeks into next year. It just depends, because obviously 14 players have been affected, but then the manager might be infected, the coaching staff, just normal staff around the building. You just don't know, because obviously it's went from 6 to 14. So obviously it's on the spread, and then you've got other teams who we might even be playing later on down the line might get it. So, I mean, someone made a good point. I think it might be Michael. Maybe this season might not even get played out. I mean, it's looking that way, because you think you've got Euro 2021 as well at the end of the season.
Yeah.
How are you going to catch all them games up? Because, I mean, it's going to be really hard if you're going to be playing 3 games a week or even 2. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a mess, isn't it, really? It's a proper mess still.
And it doesn't seem to be any enter it, does it, Dino? It's just, you know. Matthew, what's your feelings on obviously the club announced, you know, the Shrewsbury Blackpool Hull game off, and then today they postponed that and Stanley game. I think that was inevitable, really. When do you think the games will sort of get back to normal, if they get back to normal, or do you think they'll get back to normal?
Well, first of all, it was definitely the right choice to call off the Accrington Stanley game, because I think what Lee Johnson said was some of the players' isolation ends on the 29th, and obviously we're playing on the 29th, and not only does it just end on the 29th, I think it's like 11:59 p.m. So the whole day they have to self-isolate, and I believe it's the 3 goalkeepers on that day as well. So obviously we can't play a match without our goalkeepers. I'd rather not play a game for quite a good bit of time to get the squad completely back together again, you know, and then we can go and play our games again. I don't want to go into another game like how we did against it was AFC Wimbledon, where we literally pulled together a team really quickly, just got some under 23s on the bench. You know, we can't be doing that, you know, so I'd rather us not play a game. I think the players have come back now. I think the isolation ended on the 26th, and then the rest of them come back on the 29th. So if that's going to be enough time to prepare them for Northampton on the 2nd, I think you know, I think they have in mind that they don't want to cancel too many games, because obviously this is more games that they're going to have to play at the end of the season. And we've started the season late in September, so that's a whole month lost in August where we would play 3 or 4 games. And obviously 3 or 4 games doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, end of the season they're all adding up, and you know, so there's something that they're going to keep in mind. I don't. The thing is if the players are getting it now, obviously once you get the coronavirus I don't think you are completely immune to it. But obviously, just remember, like these are like athletes, you know, the coronavirus shouldn't really be affecting them in a sort of a detrimental way. So they should recover, and just, you know, as soon as they do, then obviously we need to do everything we can to sort of continue the season. I think in the Premier League as well, they're added more subs and more substitutions, so I think they're just doing everything they possibly can to just keep football going, you know, because if they stop again, you know, I don't know, financially I'm not too sure how it would affect everyone, but I don't personally, because I love football so much, I don't want it to end, because I obviously want something to watch, but obviously people's safety comes first. And you know, just isolate for 10 days, get the players back in healthy, and you know, sort of get them back in again. But yeah, it was the right call to call off the games over this period.
Cheers for that, Matthew. I'll just come to your CONRAD. I'll go to the live chat first, and remember to obviously subscribe to our channel if you don't mind. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost a penny. It only takes a couple of minutes to subscribe. If you're unsure, just ask somebody who can do it. And really appreciate if you could do that. So please subscribe to our channel. In the live chat, Clayton Edwards says, "How many pigs and blankets did the cat have, CONRAD?"
3.
I think he's implying that your cat's a bit fat.
About 3, I'd say 3 between them.
It's all right. The cat walks across the camera anyway, so you can burn it.
Yeah. But this time, instead of seeing half my face, it'll just be the full screen that'll be blocked. Oh, he's here now. Speak the devil. Yeah, all right, big lad.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to that chat. Tommy says, "Oh, Sean, nothing but all the best trimmings." Stu Shaw says, "We should have kept Camp and Steel as they couldn't catch anything."
I was hoping you wouldn't read that one because I was going to say that.
That's a good one. Carl Stewart says, "Another lockdown, lads." Well, I mean, I don't know. You wouldn't really, in January, you wouldn't, would you? To be fair, but Clayton Edwards said it doesn't cost a penny, lads. He likes that one, didn't you? Clayton likes to get that one in. Anyway, Conrad. Obviously, the postponement of the games, it's not ideal. I mean, the safety of the players and the staff associated with the club is, that's paramount. What's your feelings on, obviously, the 4 games which have been postponed? And then, are you confident that the Northampton game next Saturday will go ahead?
No, I don't think it will at this point either, because it depends when these 14 all started and how long they go on for, and then it depends if the EFL will judge that we can put out a team based on what we have at our disposal, I guess. I don't know. I was just thinking to myself as you were speaking. I know Matthew said we started in September. Can you remember why we started in September when really none of these teams played over summer? So why couldn't we have just gone, just to make sure that we get this season done, we'll start in August? I can understand the Championship and I can understand the Premier League. They played into July and August and wanted a bit of time off, but we didn't. The other teams that did, they only played 2 or 3 games. Like, that was it. So that could have been like a pre-season, if you were, like a few friendly games and then you're back in. So it's kind of a bit like they've sort of shot themselves in the foot, because if we run out of time, like, who's the teams that have players who are likely to go to the Euros? Probably us, isn't it? With our, I don't know, Northern Ireland aren't going. I don't think. I don't think they qualified, and I think that. Do we have any Scotland players anymore?
No.
Unless Maguire has a worldie of the second half of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Unless he really pulls it out the bag.
Not very likely.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think. I keep seeing it on the chat. I honestly think they'll probably end up cancelling the season, because you don't want to get to February and March, a few games away from the end, because at that point they'll feel like they have to carry on, and teams are in a position where they'll be like, well, look, a few more wins and we would have done this here. Whereas if they stop it now, no one really has any divine right to say we'd have stayed up, we would have got here, we would have got there. Even if, and I don't even think they'd have to do points per game. They'd probably just say, do you know what, we'll sack it off and we'll just start again next year. I don't know how that operates with the Championship and the Premier League, because if one of them decides to play on, then you kind of have to do points per game, unless you start messing about with how many teams are in each league and what have you. I don't know. If it's for safety, I'd say just scrap it. There's no point. You haven't got time to. Maybe scrap the Euros. I don't even care that much anyway. It's not going to be the same without fans going to that either. And I barely watch the Premier League now because fans aren't there anyway. So yeah, scrap the Euros. Let's get League One finished.
Yeah, you see, it's not great, like, but I mean, the points per game. I don't even want to think about that. I mean, imagine if they use that system again. I think it says that, like, that last season that could happen again. If there was to be a situation, then they would use that again. I'm thinking, I'm hoping that our points per game will get us into the playoffs at least. Like, but that's why I was asking Michael before.
Well, we've only lost 3 games. We've lost the least amount of games of anyone in League One. So. If we get 1 or 2 more wins under our belt, we could do a Wickham and just launch ourselves into the playoffs without actually being in there for the majority of it.
And watch us lose the playoff final still.
No, we've got Lee Johnson now. We'd be fine. He would win it. He'd get a statue outside the stadium as well.
Michael, before company hours, quickly go to live chat, mate. 2 seconds. Jacob Everyard says we would have beaten that within 3-0. Confidence. Lauren Kenny. There's not just one special guest, there's 2, Matthew and Conrad's cat.
He's on every week. He's on more than me.
Clayton Edwards again. Anyone written story got gravy down his bigot on his Christmas dinner?
I reckon he was too busy crying into his turkey Twizzlers that he didn't get the deal done.
Turkey twizzlers and pigs in blankets. What a dream.
Colin Major says, Sean, was William there for Christmas dinner? No, he wasn't. He wasn't there for Christmas dinner. Right, anyway, Michael, just your feelings on the postponement of the games. It's not ideal and everything, but can you see the season? I mean, can you see our next game being anytime soon, or do you think it's going to be a while yet?
Just out of interest, did that last comment you read, did Sean get William's story for Christmas or something? That's what I thought I heard. Imagine that being a Christmas present. You open up a box and William's story pops out of it.
You open it up and there's just a COVID denier going, "It's not real," and you're like, "Oh, John."
Right. So your question this evening. To be honest, one of my friends, I was speaking to some of my friends on Messenger yesterday, and one of them raised the point that could League One and League Two not still go ahead into the summer, considering that it's very, 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 very unlikely that any players in League One and League Two are going to go to the Euros. How many of them? I mean, we've had a couple of international calls, but have any of the players that we've got called up really going to go to the Euros?
I don't think so.
Northern Ireland,
I think
Northern Ireland qualified.
Tom Flanagan are two of them, and I'm pretty sure someone saying Northern Ireland haven't qualified.
They haven't qualified.
Maybe
like
that,
Jake,
I don't know. Maybe there's no way they can foresee that. But I thought it was a good point personally. I can understand Premier League and the Premier League and Championship will finish. I'll be pretty surprised if they didn't finish completely. And obviously they have players in that league that will go to the Euros. But besides, I wouldn't. Who cares? I don't want to watch England, Scotland. I want to watch Accrington v Sunderland. But still, like. I wouldn't. I'm kind of with you guys. I even said it. I don't think that the is that
Rich Energy Cobra.
That's not Rich Energy, Sean. Oh wait.
Oh, there it is. How many you got left, Sean?
No comment.
6 left.
6 left. Wow. I'll get them on eBay, me.
I'm with the guys here. I don't think the Northampton game will get played. I think if you look at it, the 3 goalkeepers have obviously tested positive for coronavirus. And let's be honest, even if it was just Burge Patterson, you're still without a goalkeeper because Remy Matthews can't catch a ball adequately. So you might as well not have a keeper. You might as well not have a keeper then. I'm not surprised the Accrington game got postponed because apparently, am I right in thinking? So someone in the comments, if anyone's obviously had COVID but thankfully recovered, apparently one side effect is that you feel absolutely drained and shattered for about a few weeks after you've had it. So who knows?
Terry seems to be saying that though, doesn't he? Like when we've been talking to Terry, he says he's just knackered all the time at the minute. My point.
So who knows? Maybe we'll lose to Northampton because we'll feel very lethargic. Which, by the way, is not an excuse. It shouldn't be an excuse, by the way. But anyway, I'm not surprised the Accrington game got postponed when it's that close, when it was that tight with players isolating, and then you're coming back on the 29th, and it was 11:59 p.m. and missing it and all that. It's no surprise it got postponed. And obviously, it's not just us. I think Peterborough, Ipswich, Pompey, I think Hull possibly have postponed 1 or 2 games. So it's going to be a very interesting second half of the season, put it that way, in terms of how they're going to get all these fixtures together. But yeah, Northampton, I think Northampton will get postponed. So the first game back would be against Joey Barton's Fleetwood. What a joy.
Well, that's if even that one gets played. I mean, it's
well, to be honest, I think in some respects, can you not just call off Northampton and Fleetwood and have the first game back be Port Vale in the EFL Trophy? Because then think about it, that's a great chance to get
good point. Yeah.
Obviously, you want to. Sunderland will obviously go out and try and win the competition or go out and win the game, obviously. But if we say it's a lower, not completely low pressure game, a lower pressure game. So if you go out there and play it, well, if we want to win, but if we don't lose, it's not like. Boo-hoo. It's not like the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, is it?
So that's an ideal game, really, to have first one back. But I don't know. I mean, hopefully we don't get too many games in hand. Hopefully, if they're going to use points per game later on in the season, we'll play enough games to get close to the top 2, and then we can end on points per game. Because Wickham did it, and it worked, so why can't we do it?
Exactly.
Exactly. And then we'll be the butt of everyone's jokes next season when we're getting battered week in and week out in the Championship.
Conrad,
I can't wait. I cannot wait for that.
Say, Conrad, we're the butt of everyone's jokes anyway, though. So what difference does it make?
Yeah, exactly. At least we can be like, yeah, but we're in the Championship, so.
Right. Anyway, Jacob, I'll just get your opinion in a second, mate. Carl Stewart in the live chat says the Viking William story. Philip Stout says get your bets on for Wembley. You couldn't.
EFL Trophy final. It won't be the playoffs.
Jeff Holcroft says, Sean, do you reckon William's story is a publicity stunt? I don't personally think so. There's a lot of people asked us about who his backers are, this, that, and the other. And to be fair, I think now that the Kirill Louis Dreyfus was that's the takeover's going ahead. I think if William Storey wants to get any sort of credibility of people who are doubting him, then he couldn't name them now, couldn't he? That's be the perfect time to but we'll see. I've asked the question, and we'll see if he wants to release them.
Would you like a coffee?
Yeah. Dino,
I think he's stuck. Dino,
has he told me?
I was like, do you want a coffee, mate?
Or would you like a rich energy drink?
No. Do you live vaguely nearby, Sean?
It's the best energy drink on the market.
Does it taste like Shrek's piss?
I bet it's actual piss, to be honest, mate.
You know what, Dino? We found out over the last 2 days it tastes like lies.
Right, Jacob, your thoughts on the postponement of the performance of the games, and also when do you believe that the season will get back underway for our beloved football club?
It's a difficult one, to be honest. I think the main worry that I have right now is whether, obviously we touched on tonight, that whether the season will be able to be carried on till the end. If that's going to be the case, like clubs staying financially afloat, especially in clubs in League 1 and 2, to be honest, I know they had this financial support package given by the EFL, but if they don't finish the season, that won't be enough. I can only see clubs ending up in situations like Bury were last year. To be honest, it's worrying times, and I have a feeling that Northampton game will be called off as well on Saturday, because I think some of the players, not all of them, I believe, have just come back today. I think some of them into training anyway. Some are still in their isolation period, but it'll be interesting to know, because you'd imagine Lee Johnson, he wouldn't tell like the press and the media which players those are, because that will give away the opposition, like tactically how to beat us on the day. But yeah, it's just uncertain times at the moment. We've just got to stick in there and just believe what the good will come eventually. But right now it's just hard to picture future when you're supporting a club in League 1, to be honest. Yeah, just really difficult at the moment.
Yeah, well said, Jacob. But just my quick views on it. I think I done a poll today on Twitter. I don't know if you'd seen. I did do a poll, but I'll come to that in a bit. Just basically, I was asking, with all these cancellations of the games and the safety of the players, will the season, is it best to cancel the season or restart it when this sort of, when it dies down and when it eases off? That poll's still going. I will come back in a bit. Please subscribe to our channel. It's absolutely free, doesn't cost a penny, and it just, much appreciate if you do. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, but it's going to be very hard now. But all of us at SAFC Fan TV, every single one of us, including editors, everybody associated with the channel, we've all give 100%, and we should all take credit for that. Michael?
Yeah, well, obviously, all the effort that all the lads put into the channel is absolutely incredible, and it'll be class to get to 5,000, even if it's not by the end of the year, which it's not going to be now, let's be honest. Yeah. But it still would be an incredible achievement. But I want to ask, can we get a T-shirt printed with Sean's face on, and it goes, "It's up, please subscribe, it's absolutely free and doesn't cost a penny." Let's get the merchandise.
I think Clayton Edwards will probably, because he likes to repeat that in the live chat. I'm sure
that's what I mean. Also, Joanne Punchin will buy one of those shirts. I'm sure she would. She'll end up purchasing about a bucket load of those shirts. She'll keep the business going.
Yeah, send in your merchandise ideas.
Aye, but just back to the live chat. How do you lads think we will get on with the rush of games if the go-ahead, says Ted Potts? I'd like to see, all the lads touching up there. It's going to be very, very difficult. We're already 4 games behind now, and there could be potentially another 2 or 3. That's 7. So it's going to be hard. Stu Shaw says, "Which entity unicorns we?" I'll not see what he said, but Tommy, well said, Sean. Somebody else gives a good comment, which I didn't get many of them on Twitter. Jeff Holcroft, Sean, your classmate. Thank you, mate. Thank you very much. Anyway, the takeover was announced a few days ago. I done a video for the channel. I don't know if you've watched it, but that's on the channel now. Basically confirming that Kirill Louis Dreyfus was obviously going to be the majority shareholder pending the EFL checks, and also the chairman. I think there'll be no reason why that won't go ahead. I mean, reliable journalists Phil Smith, Mark Donnelly, and James Hunter, they all reported, and the club reported as well. So, Dino, your thoughts on the takeover? I mean, me personally speaking.
All right, you've had enough now.
Just like, the takeover, it didn't go William Story's. It didn't go William Story's way, but that's just the way it goes. Dino. The takeover.
Look, you're drinking them lies there, drinking all them lies.
Those takeover tears.
To be fair, I'm going to call him Richie Rich. He's Richie Rich. I didn't know much about him. He's 22 years old. I mean, has he done anything? I don't know much about the bloke, but has he done anything regarding business-wise? So basically, we've got a rich kid who's been brought into money, who hasn't really done much, and now he runs our football club. I mean,
it's a good point. Like saying that, Dino, sorry to jump in, but people are looking at that. Dino's. He's bang on there, People are not seeing the other side of this. He's 22 years old. He's got 2 billion in a trust fund of his mum, right? I mean, his mum's worth 8 billion. He's got 2 billion in the trust fund. I mean, his dad's had, he had Marseille, and I think there's a Belgian side as well. They have got, but he's so inexperienced. Dino, sorry, I'd say that's what I was saying.
So that means he won't run the stuff. He'll be asking probably his aunties and uncles and his mum and his dad about what to do. And I mean, you could get advice so wrong. I mean, look at the Ellis Short thing. I mean, he had all the money, but had the worst advisory team ever because he got into League One and we bought the worst players out of and we could have had better players. I mean, you're not going to really see like what he's going to do until January. If he takes over in January, where the AFL checks and all that bullshit, if that gets done, he's got to make his mark in January. It's as simple as that. There's no excuses. He's got the money there, clearly. He's worth 2 billion, but it's in a trust fund, so that means they don't even trust him with it. So, really, it's like, what you're going to do in January, you've got to do something in January. Don't make any excuses. Get rid of some players who we don't need, i.e. Grigg, i.e. Graham, probably probably a couple of others, maybe get rid of Rebby Matthews because he's clearly not good enough. And see who he signs. He's got to spend, if he doesn't spend money, like a lot of money, he needs to spend something, maybe like 100 grand or whatever. You don't need to spend loads in this league, but you need to make a mark in January. It's as simple as that.
Dave, what I will say to what Dino said there, I mean, everybody's just saying, it's great, this looks great, and he's got 2 billion in a trust fund, he's young, he's ambitious, but Dino's on the other side, and I haven't heard many people say that, but I've been thinking that as well. Like, it is a bit risky, though. I mean, as he appointed this Christian, the sports director, what was he called again? Christian Speakman, yeah. I mean, you would imagine he had some say in that, and he's also had some say in the League Johnson thing. I know the club... Jim Robb would come out and said that wasn't the case, but he must have, if they've been in talks for months and months.
If he didn't have a talk with Lee Johnson, you'd imagine he at least had a say in, if I'm coming in, Parky has to go, we need a new
something
start.
Like that.
So you'd imagine that.
But touching on what Dino said there, I don't think any of you lads will bring this up when I come out to use, but the wage, the salary cap, I mean, is that going to be January? Dino says about January's going to have to be the month about it and say, look, he's going to show ambition, but is our hands tied with the salary cap? I mean, Michael, is our hands tied with the salary cap, and what's your feelings on this takeover in a whole, mate?
Well, first of all, on the salary cap, that's the one thing when we go, we're going to get money, we've got to spend money and all that. Well, probably you physically can't because of the stupid salary cap. So that's going to restrict on what we can do. But if Sunderland are smart, which, yeah, granted, they probably won't be, there's ways to get around that. There's ways to get around when saying target
promotion bonuses.
Well, exactly, promotion bonuses, and also, to be honest, the business I expect Sunderland to do in January is probably loan players of young Premier League players of 21, 20 years old. And I'm hopefully players with some pace, but not just for the sake of having pace. Hopefully with something of an intelligent football brain in there. But with the takeover stuff, to be honest, I'm hoping this is the last we're going to have to talk on the takeover, because as everybody knows, I've made it pretty clear I've grown sick of talking about it over the last so many weeks and months. Look, Louis Dreyfus, that's going to be a mouthful.
Richie
Rich energy.
No.
Yeah, just an excuse to get that on camera again. Dreyfus, I think it's.
That was sponsors.
I'm not surprised that it happened. I'm not surprised it happened that way. It sounded like that's what was going to be expected. I can only see Sean and Jacob, so I don't know what on earth's going on, but it sounds like something funny.
Just assume I'm being hilarious, Michael.
Oh, all right then. But either way, it won't be. I'll be amazed if it's him making the decisions. And yes, obviously his dad passed away, I think, well over a decade ago. So it's his inheritance basically that Kyril's got. So I don't think he's good. I think Dino is right. I don't think he's going to be running the shots. I think he'll be advised on what to do, but the question is whether the advisors are going to be adequate enough. I'm not going to get carried away until I find out what the vision and the plan is for the club and how we proceed to go about things going forward. Obviously, we need to think short term, i.e. promotion, but we also need to think long term, how we're going to get ourselves sustainable and how we're going to get to the point where long term down the line, we're aiming to go back up to the Premier League. Because that long term, if that's not the aim, then what's the point? Long term, however long it's going to take, and it will take a lot of years, don't get me wrong, you've got to think of it that way. If there's a strategy, fair enough. But there has to be an execution and a plan there. Otherwise, it's pointless.
Obviously, Jacob, I'll come to you with Dino. You want to get in there, mate?
Yeah, the salary cap, there's a way around it. You get Danny Graham, get his contract and go, you get Will Grigg and you sell him for peanuts.
Dino in the club.
You get Will Grigg, you sell him for peanuts. You're never going to get $1 million for him because he's not that good. So you just get him out, get his wages off. Other players, I'm trying to think who can go and who can stay.
Remy
Matthews, try and offload him. If he doesn't want to, rip his contract up. That's
Shimajli, he's not even fit.
Who?
Yeah, he's out.
Shimajli, that centre-back we bought who got injured on day one.
I think that's a bit shocking to do that to him because he didn't even get a chance.
He tripped over a sign saying to keep off the grass. Yeah. Is he?
Point out with the salary cap.
So you've got to make them decisions, right? You're seeing the salary cap's going to benefit. It's not going to hinder you. You've just got to make them decisions of who you want to get rid of, and you've got to get rid of them by any means necessary.
It depends on how much those wages of, say, Danny Graham, Will Grigg, Matthews, how much of those wages combined is it going to be together to get?
You still have to pay them off, though. I didn't realise this until recently.
I don't think you should have. I don't think you should have.
Yeah, it's like when a club buys someone, you still have to pay off the years you agreed to pay them for.
Well, Danny Graham's only here for half a year, so that's not much.
6 months, yeah.
So boom, get that away.
Griggs, though, he's got a... Griggs going to be...
Grigg, get him out on loan. Loan him out. Instead of selling him, loan him out. You don't have to sell him, you loan him out.
That other clubs are going to be in the situation where they can't... how much of his wages are they going to be able to afford? How much of his wages are we going to have to still pay off?
Even if we 50-50 it with someone, it's money saved at some point, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's true, to be fair. It is. The point, the concern I've got with the salary cap, and it's been brought up on other fan publications and everything, that we've got a lot of players out of contract at the end of the season. Now, if this salary cap's still in place, their wage, unlike this season where their wages, I think they only counted something like less than $2,000 per head towards the cap. Next year, if we have new contracts, they're going to contribute wholly towards the salary cap. So we're kind of going to be screwed. That's something which emphasises the need to go up this year. But the salary cap, unfortunately, I'm hoping it's not here next year. I don't mind the idea behind it. I just don't think it's right that we have to think the same way as teams down the bottom end of the league.
Matthew, you want to get in there quickly? Sorry, Jacob. Matthew, you want to get in there?
Yeah. I just want to say something on Will Grigg quickly. I don't know if any of you have seen the Class of '92 documentary, like Gary Neville and that with Salford City. Last season, they offered Sunderland, I believe, a loan deal for Will Grigg in January, and I think there was an option of signing a 2 or 3 year deal after that. But what they said was, what Gary Neville was saying was he He said, if Greg comes here, he gets us promoted. I think he scores up to 10 goals or something like that. We'll give him this amount of thousands. I think it was about 10,000 upwards or something like that. We'll give him that amount of money. Yeah, and I think the club were happy to accept it. Will Grigg said no. And to be fair, I mean,
League Two, did he?
No, he didn't. But to be fair, though, Will Grigg only played one game in 2020 in that season. I think at Bristol Rovers away.
Yeah.
He wasn't even getting in the squad, and he said no. And I mean, did he say no because he knows he's not going to score 10 goals in half a season? Something like that. But so it's easy to say, we've got to get these players loaned out. But I mean, if they're saying no, then there's not really too much we can do about it,
Mm.
Well, then Tavy's contract up. If that's the case, if that's his attitude, is like, I'm just going to sit here and play on the bench, rip his contract up. Fuck him.
That's actually a good point, Dino, because the one good thing that Donald and Medfin were good at when they first came in was Dillaboji and Dong Rodwell. They got those contract issues sorted. You're off. Exactly, they had to, but they went to court and
because them literally refused to even turn up to training, but still wanted the wage. If Will Grigg just turns up to training, does his best, and doesn't get, he's entitled to his wages. So the best thing to do is to rip his contract up if possible. Because why would you want someone on the
still have to pay him that? You can't rip it up and then not give him what you.
Well, what would you rather do? Rip it up, or just let him fart around, not just train? You might as well get rid of him because if he's training.
It's 6 and 2 threes. It's the same money.
How much would it cost? Because I believe he's got 18 months left. When he signed, it was a 3.5-year contract, and that was 2 years ago. So he's got 18. He's effectively got 18 months left. So should it cost that much to pay him off?
I imagine he was on more than they were willing to pay to get Parky off.
But then, but then again, you look at his wages though as well. He must be one of the top earners at the club. So are you having to pay his wages for the remainder of his contract?
Anyway, Jacob,
this is turning into a Greek debate here.
I'll just go to that. Jacob, it's been Jacob's turn for a while. Jacob, I'll come to you in a minute. 2 seconds, mate. Let's quickly go back to live chat. Remember to give us the thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Give us the thumbs up. The thumbs up. Or the thumbs down if you don't like what we're doing.
Thumbs up, down.
The thumbs up. The thumbs up. Robert Foster said just because he's 22, Camilla refuse. He says it doesn't mean he does no business. After all, Juan Sartori was a multi-billionaire 25. I'm not sure if he was a multi-billionaire 25 because I'm not sure what his value is actually. Legend SAFC 16 says the Dreyfus family have a very good football history. Robert Foster says we can't spend much because of the salary cap. Well, that could be a point. David Walker, not as risky as his story would have been. Well, that's another thing. Anyway, Jacob.
Finally,
finally, so the takeover situation for me. I'm surprised.
Oh, sorry, Sean. Got something else.
I'm surprised that. I'm surprised that Dino and Michael hasn't mentioned this, but what I was interested in, and I think this will come out when the AFL checks is done, is Donald. Obviously, he's going to retain a percentage. I mean, do you think that's a problem? Donald staying. Methven keeping his 6%. Donald you'd imagine keeping 15%. He won't call the shots anymore. But would you prefer a full takeover where they went in the picture, or do you think with getting rid of them short term, they will be gone eventually? Do you think this Dreyfus, I get it right?
Well, it's a funny one because I don't know with the reports that have come out recently, the way how it broke the news on Christmas Eve. Does Kirill Louis Drew, does he want full control, like the way how it was worded, or does he, as part of this deal, will Donald still be on board? The way how I read it, it looks like Donald is completely done now, but then again, something could come out in the next few weeks whether he's still clinging on.
He's set his majority shareholder, so basically what that's saying is he doesn't call the shots anymore. The main shareholder of the club is Kirill Louis Dreyfus, but Donald will still retain a percentage. That's what I'm getting off the reports of the reliable journalists saying. So for me, it's a step in the right direction. But Donald's still there in the background. He just sell his shares when we get back to the Premier League eventually and cash in. That's all he do there. Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's a step forward. I mean, people can say he's at the age of 23 and he's got a lack. People say because of his age, he's got a lack of experience. Listen, if if you're a smart-minded businessman, it doesn't matter what age you're at, you're still capable of doing a good job. And I believe he's got his plan in place now, which I believe is putting a lot of money into our youth setup and building from there, because when you're down in these leagues with the salary cap that's in place, it's very hard to bring players in. So you have to build on the youth setup that you've currently have at your club and try and turn them into decent players that could be sold on a profit. And I think with this long-term plan with Christian Speakman on board, hopefully it will take time. It's going to be a long-term project. And I think the appointment of Lee Johnson as well, considering the age he's at, he's a young head coach, can get the best out of youth players. It is going to be a long-term project, but we have to back it as much as we can as fans, to be honest. I know people, a lot of Sunderland fans over the years saying we haven't got time, but the club, I think the club financially is already, with Donald being at the helm the last couple of months, the club's already in a financial mess, to be honest. And Kirill Louis-Dreyfus has got a lot of work to fix, but he has got a lot of funding behind him. That's the good thing that we can look at. So yeah, we have to back him as much as we can, but yeah, it will be a slow rebuilding project.
Cheers, that Jacob. Matthew, before company, I'll just quickly go back to the live chat. Philip Stout says, Dino. Do you know him, Dino?
Who said that?
No, Dino.
Philip Stout in the chat.
No clue.
Ted Potts says Greg is being a TITT. He's sitting on the bench taking his money. Why would he try? Adam French says we paid off Rodwell. Ted Potts says if he's not calling the shots, who cares, man? Wait Philly's just popped up there. Stuart Donald will still run the club on behalf of Kirill Louis-Dreyfus. I think Philly's just trying to wind me up there. I think that's what he's trying to the devil's advocate.
How do I ban him?
The truth,
Can I ban him from the chat?
Stuart Donald won't run it. Charlie Methven will run it. Seriously, no, I'm
Hi man, just because he's got a stake means shit. I could have a stake in the club. I could have a 1% stake in the club, and it means nout. It just means when you want to sell your shares, you can make profit. Yeah. He's not going to call anything. He's literally just going to stay down in London, let Richie Rich do his thing, try and get the team to the Championship and Prem, and then sell his shares when it's at its highest. It's like anything. When you put shares into something, you want to hope it does well so you can sell your shares. It's simple as that.
Dino, what have you got to say to Wade Philly for trying to say that? Because he's watching right now.
Tell Philly to get back to graft.
Matthew, your feelings on the takeover, mate? Do you think it was great news when it was announced? Because Christmas Eve as well, of all the days, it was Christmas Eve. Everybody's been down the dumps, and then the club announced it. I think it was 3:30. I think it was a great Christmas present, an early Christmas present, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I wasn't too excited when I saw the news. To be fair, I thought, it's obviously a step in the right direction. I don't think William Story was ever going to get it, because if he didn't get it when he first put the £45 million bid in, it wouldn't have taken this long, and I don't think he would have got the club. But however you say his name, Dreyfus or whatever, I think Richie Rich. Yeah.
Richie.
Obviously, he's got the club for less money, but then again, he's obviously having less of the club, if that makes sense. Like, he's not taking it all. Obviously, William Story wanted the whole club. Stuart Donald out. Obviously, in the statement, Stuart Donald, he said that he's going to be watching from afar. I mean, the way I see it, if Stuart Donald was that bothered about selling the club, he would have just gone completely. Yeah. But, he wanted to find someone who was obviously he's good. He could do a good job. Obviously, with the right team behind him, I think he could do a good job. Obviously, I think Stuart Donald and Methven, they're just sort of hanging on for something still at the club because they want something out. And I think, do you know what? They've lost so much money. I think Stuart Donald and Methven, the amount of money I think they've put in, they've lost so much personally for them. That's why they still want probably a stake in the club so they can get it all back. Because I think, when their plan A didn't work, get promoted in the first season, I think in the second season, I think they weren't expecting that, and they probably lost quite a lot of money themselves. So that's probably why they're still holding on to their shares. But yeah, I mean, the way I see it, look, I mean, we can all have these different opinions on who should own the club. Who should be the owner, who should be the chairman, who should be the chief executive, or whatever. If Dreyfus, Stuart Donald, William Story, Dave the Rave's the owner, we all want the exact same thing. That's it. At the end of the day, we all want the exact same thing, and that's for this club to be successful. And that's all I really want.
Yeah, of course, mate. Well said, Matthew. CONRAD, I know it's been going on for a long time now, and you've obviously I think you, Michael, and Dino's had enough of the takeover talk. But finally, there was a conclusion on Christmas Eve, announced by the club and by the reliable journalists. What's your feelings on the takeover now? It's been signed, sealed, and delivered, as this year.
Wait for his one-word answer.
I famously have spoken at length about this takeover for many weeks now. Yeah, it was. I was happy. I'm just hoping, I think someone put in the chat earlier on, I'm just hoping it doesn't fall through, so that I have to keep dealing with it. No, it's happy. It was the best we were going to get, wasn't it? With Donald sort of partially stepping aside more than going at the moment. And I don't care if he does get his money later on. It's what can you do at that point? And he doesn't deserve it, but that's the hand we're sort of left. I won't feel bad if we go into the Premier League and I hear that he gets a big payday. I won't care. We're in the Premier League at that point there. I think this lad, I think we spoke about this earlier in the week, sort of saying that, because a few weeks ago they were saying, that's off because Stuart Donald didn't want to sell so much of the club to him. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was just like, it's back on. Yep, he's got it, and he's got the control. They were very specific in mentioning the fact that he's taken the controlling stake. Usually when it's something that they know isn't that important, they're just like, he's in, he's done it. So I think the fact that they mentioned it, I think it's clear that Donald's sort of gone, right, look, this is as best it's going to get for me and for Charlie. Let's just jump out now. And Louis probably has his advisors. He also has his family who've run multiple other football clubs, and they're not going to want it to go tits up, man. They probably see us, like how we see Sunderland, as a massive opportunity that you can take from transfer. You buy a mid-table Premier League team, there's a glass ceiling you're going to hit. With us being this far down, there's a long way they can take us. So it's, we'll see how it goes. But I mean, I'm still I don't like talking about it that much, but I'm just glad and fingers crossed we don't have to mention it ever again. Ever.
EFL checks. So CONRAD, you're thinking something's going to go wrong with the EFL checks. That's what you sort of. Anyway, thanks for that, CONRAD. Wade Philly in the live chat, the boss of the show, and Wade Philly will be back in January. He will be back on the channel in January, so it'll be great.
Back from his loan spell, we can
recall him in
spell. January.
In Grafton he's had family problems as well, so it'll be great when Wade Philly comes back. He says very, very well said, Matthew. Matthew's a great speaker, says Joanne Punchin.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing, CONRAD's tone of voice says it all.
That's just my voice, mate.
Anyway, we're down to the last 10 minutes. I've written loads of topics down, but I didn't want to get
save McGeady for Thursday.
Do you think we should? Well, Thursday's going to be the New Year's Eve, isn't it? So are we doing a show on New Year's Eve? So
it's the only chance we're going to have before Northampton as well, isn't it?
Absolutely smash stuff in my face.
Yeah, that'd be even better. Yeah, let's have a few drinks. Let's everyone get wrecked and do it on New Year's Eve.
Anyway, just quickly, we're doing a competition as well. It's been going now for a couple of weeks now. CONRAD, I think it's
might have only been one. I think maybe one or two at most. Maybe
me and CONRAD, we've done the draw before the show, and I can reveal that the winner.
Hold on.
Shirt.
You mean this?
The winner is Neil Thompson. Neil Thompson, you are the winner. So, Neil Thompson, round of applause, Neil Thompson. All you got to do is direct message Michael on Twitter or on.
I'll contact him on his comments as well, and we'll see what way.
We will sort that out.
Well
done.
Slide into Sean's DMs.
We'll have to figure out a way to get this shirt to him, but wherever he lives, but we'll see.
Anyway, the Aiden McGeady, see what down the last 10 minutes. I listened to the Aiden McGeady podcast briefly, the 20 minutes anyway. Dino, did you listen or not? No. Right. So I think Michael, I know you did, and I know CONRAD did. Jacob, did you listen to the? Yeah. Matthew, did you?
Yeah, I listened to it twice.
Loved it so much.
You listened to it.
Matthew, I'll start with you first, mate. Your views on Aiden McGeady's comments. I mean, I've just listened to just as we'll come on the live shows, and it was crazy how you hear his side of the story when you hear certain rumours. How do you think his side of it? How do you think he spoke in the podcast? He come across nice as well. I think people have said this, not the other about him, but now it's good to hear his side of the story. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's completely honest in what he says. He didn't hold back. He said straight away when Parkinson came in, he wasn't going to last 10 days, or he knew after 10 days that he wasn't going to last. And it seemed very odd how he was being called in for meetings, with Parkinson. What do you think of this? And then a few weeks later, McGeady's completely just frozen out. And that just didn't make sense. Obviously, I think McGeady, he's a player. I mean, Dino, I don't think you like him too much because he's that sort of player where when he plays, it does sort of become McGeady FC and everything's all about him. But I think he's one of our only players where he has just the confidence in himself, and in his ability, that where he gets the ball and he can take it forward. A lot of the other players in our team, I find what they do is they get the ball and then they're always looking for a sideways or backwards pass. They never have the confidence to take the ball forward themselves. But I think McGeady in the team, just as long as he just takes part in the team a little bit more, and it's not so much all about him. McGeady FC, pass to me, he'll try and just have a shot when there's a better option. I think he can help bring our team forward. But I really like McGeady. To be fair, McGeady's probably my favourite player, and I'm so happy that he's back. So happy that he's back.
Yeah, I am too. Just quickly, lads, on that. It's last 5 minutes. Jacob, I'll get your views on the Aiden McGeady podcast, mate.
Yeah, very interesting interview with, was it Danny Collins, and was it our commentator?
Francis,
very well constructed interview. Interesting moments at times, especially when he was talking about the time when he was frozen out of the squad completely, and the build up to that Gillingham game. Was it the 1-0 defeat in December last year? Because I think he was called in for a meeting on the Wednesday. Parkinson said he was going to start the game, and then he was called in the following day. And then he said, I'm going against that, so I'm going with 2 strikers. You're going to be on the bench. I think now, from what we're hearing, that people can say, because we all assumed it was that picture that came out with him and Chris Maguire having a Mackey's after the game. To be honest, I mean, that whole thing, I think it was blown out of proportion a little bit, to be honest. That thing, I don't really care what the players eat as long as they're putting the performances on the pitch. I think something's clearly gone down from that 24-hour period from when he was dropped from the team completely. I mean, McGeady might deny. I mean, you can believe what he says, or it's hard to put into words. But the main thing, what Matthew was saying, we've just got to be grateful he's back in the squad right now. To be honest, I mean, I know at times people can say he likes to run his mouth, but to be honest, I think when you've got a player like that in the squad, I think it would benefit if he had the captain's armband. To be honest, I'd give him the captaincy. I think people can really thrive off leadership like that in the dressing room. And when a player with that amount of quality's got the captain's armband, then you're only going to listen to what he wants to say. And he's on a contract to the end of the season. When you've got a quality player like that down in this league, use it to the best, and it could make or break whether he gets us out of this division this season. And bringing him back is, for me, 100% the right decision. So, up the geese.
Yeah. CONRAD, obviously you recommended us to listen to the podcast, and it was very good. Like you see, our listeners, about 30 minutes of it, and I'll listen to the rest tomorrow. What was your ratings of Aiden McGeady's comments about Phil Parkinson?
It was the fact that, I mean, whenever at another time have we sacked a manager or let a player go, and the club have then put out a piece of content which allows someone to have a scathing go at them? Like, we're usually quite even when DeCanio left, they weren't like, right, Bardsley and Kilgallen, let's get you on a podcast and say all the stuff that happened here. Like, it doesn't happen. So I kind of lean towards this thing of, well, they've obviously seen this happen from internally as well, or thought something, because if they were trying to sort of go, well, maybe you did do something, McGeady, you'd keep it to yourself and just have him on, chat nicely about, hey, you're back in the team. Do you fancy doing this quiz that Danny Collins does? You don't need to sort of bring it up. Do you know what I mean? It makes me think this actually must have happened because they are allowing us to hear this. They didn't have to do this. No, everyone was going, we need answers. He was back in the team. No one cared.
Yeah.
It's like Matthew said, it was just weird to be like how Parkinson came in and they all got this vibe of this isn't right. And then he was getting like Ledbetter in, McGeady, and going, so how do you think I'm going to get the best out of the team? And was having open chats with them. And then one day just went, oh, McGeady, can you come see me? Yeah, you're not playing ever. Like, and like McGeady apparently, again, this is all like on his side, of course, on there, but said he went and apologized twice to sort of say, look, whatever I've done, I'm willing to work with the team and do this. And he was just sorry. Exactly. Just sort of like pushed off twice to be like, nah, not interested.
You know, I actually heard a story that he was getting a massage at the time. I think it was another player, was on another podcast. Somebody says he was getting a massage at the time. And he says, the gaffer wants to see you. He went, I tell him I'll be 5 minutes. And then when he went to go and see him, when he went to go to the office, according to Phil Parkinson was just having his dinner. And he went over and says, you wanted his boss? He went, doesn't matter. And then from there,
he's a weird fella, like even when we were, like, everyone knows his post-match interviews where he would never look at the person while he's speaking to them. And he always seemed a bit shifty. You can just imagine he was like, if you don't like McGeady, that's fair enough. If he doesn't fit into your plans, that's fair enough. But you're a manager of a football team. You need to have the bottle to say, he doesn't fit into my plans. That's why he's out. Not sort of go, oh, he's bullying, so I've put him with the children. That makes no sense. Yeah, I haven't brought him back because I'm giving the kids a go, and then doesn't play any of the kids. It's like, just have the bottle to say, I don't like him. He doesn't fit in my team. His personality gets on my nerves. He's gone. Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, exactly. Michael, your opinions on the podcast with Aiden McGeady?
Well, I mean, I'll just do a Phil Parkinson impression and not just like, not look anywhere near the camera and whatnot. A simple answer is, I think that when we talk about the bullying thing, I think that's bollocks now. I may have believed it when this whole thing started, but like I've said countless times, you do not let a player train with the under-23s or get involved at the under-23s if he is indeed bullying people. That is one of the last things and the most counterproductive thing you can think of. I think for me, and I've said it, it might be a conspiracy theory, it might be nothing in this, you make up your own mind of whether I'm saying it's true or not. I think that the simple answer is Parkinson didn't like that McGeady has standards, higher standards, saying, nope, results like Gillingham aren't acceptable, results like Burton at home aren't acceptable, and he's just ostracised him for it. And it, for me, emphasises how clueless Phil Parkinson actually was, because you could, if you managed McGeady effectively, you could be a real asset to your team. And you just need to listen to what that prick Lewis Morgan was saying about how McGeady goes on about
how you feel, Michael.
If you can't handle pressure after drawing it home to Accrington effing Stanley, then you shouldn't be playing at Sunderland. And and Morgan says players are scared by that. Wrong club then, mate. No wonder you're in the MLS. McGeady's got the right attitude. He's got the absolute right attitude. And Parkinson just didn't like it. That's as simple as the matter is. And the fact is, McGeady has outlasted Parkinson. There you go.
It's the same we said before, just to quickly go in. It explains why now he didn't go for someone like Marcus Maddison. It was almost the same sort of thing.
The reason is because Parkinson doesn't like attacking quality players. He just likes to be defensive. So, but there you have it. Parkinson isn't here anymore. Be interested to see what happens with Parkinson's side of the story, mind, because I've got no doubt there'll be something coming out about this. But very interesting podcast, though. To anyone who hasn't listened, I recommend you listen to it. It's quite interesting.
It was. I mean, like you said, CONRAD recommended it to me. So it was. I listened to the details I want to listen to. Obviously, the Parkinson situation. That's all I was bothered about. To be fair, but I will finish it off. Dino and I, you haven't. You didn't listen to the podcast.
We're kicking time on.
I know.
We also summed it up anyway.
Me and Conrad's just sort of like we've been thinking now. We went over the time anyway. But what we're going to do is me and Conrad's just decided there. We're going to put a vote up just to ask our subscribers whether or not they want to do a Thursday Is that, or Sunday? Is that right, Conrad?
If we do, why don't we? Like, I know we were talking about it just then. If people want us to do one on Thursday on New Year's Eve, I'm happy to do it because I don't think I can go anywhere really anyway. So why not? I'll have a few beers and I'll have a chat with people about football on here. So if people want us to do a show on Thursday, I'll put it on Twitter and we'll see if people want it. And if they don't, we'll wait till Sunday.
Conrad, you can put up polls in the community tab on YouTube as well.
I'll do that then. I'll do it on there.
If you haven't got Twitter, you can do it in there as well.
I'll put it on the tab. But yeah, someone's just put, hey, piss up Thursday. So yeah, why not? Let's have a show. A New Year's Eve party show instead. Our best Sunderland memories. Why not, eh?
See, Conrad's
get wrecked.
Conrad's going to put that up on the socials. So we'll see what they say. But I'm pretty sure they'll probably say that they want to watch us because people do love tuning in. Anyway, that just about wraps it up on the Sunday a bunch. So thanks to everybody who's tuned in. Thanks to people who's tuning in on the live chat and interact with us there. Please subscribe to our channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost a penny.
Thumbs up.
So give us a thumbs up or the thumbs down. But anyway, for myself, Sean Milton, Conrad Lee, Dino Elgore, Jacob Kirkbride, Michael Bowers, and our special guest, Matthew Lead. We will see you hopefully Thursday and then definitely Sunday. Bye for now.
See ya.